Hey everybody, it's Linda with Stamping School. I'm going to use this adorable stamp set this week. It's in the Stampin' Up! Mini Catalog, July through December 2022. I think it's on page 37. It's $21. No dies or anything. So I love animals, of course. I just love the mischievousness here. You've been good this year, mostly. And it's a cat holding the mistletoe, trying to get the fish. That's when the dog's tied up the cat. Really cute. Now, one of the main complaints that I hear about these open line images is like, it just takes so long to color. I love them, but they take too long. So I want to show you an easy way to do them. So it's just very minimal coloring, but just a little bit. Let me show you this one. This is white on white. You can see a little bit of shading, and I'll show you how to do it quickly. I think this one might be my favorite. This is just cherry cobbler in a crumb cake frame. It's fun. Okay. First thing we have to do is figure out how we're going to color them. And anytime I'm stamping an open line image like this, I want to make sure I use my Stamparatus so that if I stamp it once, and then I know that I can stamp it again if it doesn't get nice and dark enough. Now I'm using this frame. You can use any kind of frames, ovals, circles, whatever you want. This one happens to be from the Fabulous Frame Set. I've been using it a lot this year. It's got a small oval and this pretty thing and these little corners. And this, when I cut it out, is going to have this piece and then the frame. So it cuts out like this right here. So you can use this for something else. But I have a piece of paper that's exactly the same size as the frame, and that's going to be mounted behind the frame. So rather than cutting this in white and having there be like an edge, I just want it to be completely covered. So to line this up, I'm actually just going to put the frame right here. And if you aren't sure that your stamps are clean, add a little piece of plastic or something behind it, just to make sure that the paper doesn't get messed up. So I'm just going to line these up here and here. You've been good this year, mostly. And once I like it where it is, then I can mount it. And we can get rid of all this and just keep the paper. Now, I always keep a silicone pad in my Stamparatus because these magnets are so strong, and if I keep moving them off of this nice grid right here, it gets all scratched up, so I just keep that there. Now you can also test it again on the piece of plastic to make sure that you like the alignment of it, but this looks good to me. So I'm going to be using my alcohol markers, and when I use those, I want to make sure I use a non-waterproof ink pad like the Memento. This is Tuxedo Black. We sell that with Stampin' Up! If you're using water and watercolor pencils, you want to use StazOn. But we don't use the StazOn with these because the line will bleed. So we're going to ink this up. And because it stays in the same place, if you miss a little bit, you can go back and hit it again. See, I want that just a little bit darker, but not on the sentiment, just on the cat. A little bit darker. Perfect. So this is how not to color, and to color as little as possible. You can color it any way you want to. This is an orange tabby that I did. There's a cat in the neighborhood that looks like this. So I was playing around with different colors, but it does take a while. This method is going to be much quicker. Now these Stampin' Blends, this is the color lifter. It is clear. There's nothing on it. And you're gonna wanna make sure you have one of these. It's just, what it does is it lightens all of the colors up if you need it, and that works really, really well. I've zoomed in a little bit for you. I've been painting all week. We've been painting a friend's house. Do not look at my cuticles. Do not look at my nails. I did not wear gloves, and I did a lot of painting this week. First thing we want to do is cover up the image and do just a little bit of brushing or sponging, just a tinge. And I don't even know if you can see it. There's like a little blue glow around it. So this will stay on my stamp set. I stamped him on some cardstock and you cut them out. And see, I didn't cut the whiskers, and I didn't cut this part out, just the cat. Right. Balmy blue ink, take a little bit off, and then just lightly brush it. Don't go back and forth, okay? Just lightly pushing up this way, and all that does is put a little blue glow around the cat. Now we need a little blue glow around the fish. And then I'm gonna cover up my fish. I'm gonna do the same thing. It's such a little amount, you hardly think anything's happening, but it's there. Okay, so it's just a little blue glow. Now I decided to go with a brighter green, so these little mistletoe leaves show better. And I'm gonna give the fish a little green also. Crumb cake for the sand, easy so far, right? Soft suede for these little speckle sands right there, and then soft suede for his base. Could be any color you want. Oops, I forgot a little green on his tree. And light cherry cobbler for the ribbon that holds the mistletoe. And 3 little berries. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to put a little shadow here so that it's just not floating in space. You need just a little bit of something. So I always imagine my light coming in from the same way, from this corner, so all of the shadows would be over on the left side. You can do whatever you want, that's just what I do. I do light smoky slate. And here's my light coming here. And so here is the fish bowl, right here, and pause. That's it, right there. But we're not done. We're gonna smudge that out a little. Light balmy blue around the fish tank. Just a little bit, little tiny bit, don't overdo it, right here. And then a couple little bubbles above him. The cat, I'm gonna go with, let's do crumb cake, why not? Make it a brown cat. This one I did gray. Let's do light crumb cake. And literally just a little bit around the edges. Left side of the tail, a little bit here, a little bit here. This is it. That's really, you don't want to overdo because you've got to go back in and smudge everything out. That's it. And this is where the magic happens. And I'll show you another tip that you can do with the 2 of these together. But first, I'm going to show you how to smudge these. So, like I said, this is clear, and it doesn't erase it. What it does is it moves it. So, instead of just going back and forth, go in one direction or the other and move it, and it lightens it up. And you'll hear it. And you don't want to over soak it. You want to just go and go to the next one. You can always come back and move more of it and lighten more. It's better not to over soak it because there's alcohol in here. It's like a clear alcohol type formula. See how that smudged it? Can you see that? I hope you can see it. Now I can go color to color, it won't matter. It's gonna be fine. And here, we're gonna move that tail. Try and stay away from your black lines, although it shouldn't smudge too much. And you're just gonna move it toward the center. Just making it a little blurry. I kind of tip things upside down, push it away from the line, and you'll think that nothing's happening, but it really is. Sometimes you have to step away from it to see it. I'm only going in one direction, around the curve, and it softens all those lines. All right, that's it. Now, something else that you can do, you can take one of your blends, this one's the crumb cake, okay? And you can touch the tip to it, and you can bring in the color that way, and it's super soft. And it doesn't hurt your pen. I'll even show you how it works with red, and you'll see it just disappears again. See, if you want to. So you can come in and you can add a little bit more color that way. But see, most of them is white. All you're doing is really just defining what's there. There you go. So if you find nothing's happening, you're going too fast, or you need a new one. They do run out, but it works pretty easily. So for instance, here is a dark color. I can take this clear, the clear white one. I can come in and do a little accent on my fish. And watch. It's gone. See? It's right back to where it was. Red is tricky because it's so pigmented, but watch. See that? It's gone. And after a few minutes, oops, there's a little bit there. After a few minutes, you won't even see the red on there anymore. It'll just disappear. It's pretty amazing. So I think it's great the way it is. If you want to add more, you can. So this is my cherry cobbler. You can glue this down here. You can add your frame. You don't have to pop it up like I did. I put little strip dimensionals underneath it. Now you can also go a lot larger if you want to. You can do a 5x7 card or something, or a larger card. If you think that's too small, look, you can go all the way up here and add frames. You can still mail a 5x7 for a first class stamp. And this one, I just did white on white just to give it a try. Kind of like this one better, but it's still cute, and the blue pops out more. Now this one, really the only coloring I did, the most of it was the red, the cherry cobbler and the red on the ribbon. This is just a touch of crumb cake. I did the shading on the blue and a little bit of gray on the dog, and that was it. That was less coloring than this one. So give it a try. It's a really cute set. We'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.